What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. Today is the day. The boys are back from international break. We got Chelsea. Big match. Big match. With what happened with Arsenal yesterday, we'll get into that. This is a big match. We can go 4 clear, I believe, at the top of the table. And then also, the new contracts are in the works, it seems like, with Trent and Virgil van Dijk. Maybe not Mo Salah. We'll talk about all that and more. Steve, how you doing this morning?
Well, it's been a little while since we've been on, so I'm excited to be back. Let's just say that. I have my brand new official Liverpool Supporters Club of Boston annual t-shirt I'm representing. Very proud. Very proud about that. Liz, sorry we were late. Totally not uncommon. And we actually got a decent amount to talk about today. So
Thank
that's
goodness.
exciting. And the first thing I want to say about the contracts is I think they're going to lock down Mo Salah as well.
You think
I think they're
so?
going to give Mo Salah a 2-year extension. Why not?
Well, no. It's not that. I was just thinking more so along the lines of, all right, look, if you lock down Mo Salah, don't you also have to lock down Allison too?
When does his contract run up? He's got
This
2
is
years
last
left.
year. I think he's in a
No, he's
contract
not.
here.
No, he's not.
No?
No, he's here till like 2026, I think.
So maybe 2 years left.
Yeah, we'd be hearing about that if that was the case.
You're right. That's actually a great point. I just have heard the rumors of him going to Saudi. And so with Marmar
2021 to
Darshvili,
2026.
okay, so you're right.
Who
Yeah,
going to
but
Saudi?
Allison, you didn't see
He
those
doesn't want
rumors?
to go to
Where
Saudi.
no,
Dude, he
hold
does
on.
not want to go to Saudi.
I didn't say he wanted to. I'm saying you didn't see where he was offered maybe last year. He was
Yeah, I saw that.
offered, yeah, and he said, no, I want to stay at least one more year. He said like those words along the lines of like, no, I want to stay at least one more year. No, I want to stay and finish out the year. Um, but the reason I think that maybe Allison could be going somewhere after this year, i.e. Saudi, is just because of Mamadashvili. That's the only reason I think that.
Um, I think Allison said something along the lines of his family is happy here. He wants to see out his contract. He would be
I did
happy
see
to
that.
extend. Something to that effect. I don't think he's going anywhere. Mamadashvili, I think there's either two reasons. I said this before. He's being groomed to be the next one. Maybe we don't plan on extending Allison at the end of his contract, or we do plan on selling him 1 year early while he still has some value. Allison doesn't strike me as the type of person to go to Saudi to chase the money. He doesn't make a ton here. Like,
He doesn't.
he could go play for, I don't know, PSG or another club that will just pay a ton and stay in Europe.
No, he can't go to PSG because of Donnarumma.
Okay, well, you know what I mean. A bigger club, Barcelona, who knows?
Ter
Bayern
Stegen's
Munich.
there. The thing about goalkeepers in Europe is you lock down one top goalkeeper, and each club has one, maybe two if you're lucky.
There are not a lot of top goalkeepers anymore, though. Ter Stegen, Neuer, they're all declining. Allison's not. He's just injury prone.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I
It's
know, and we're
unbelievable.
not even going to get into that because I know that really bothers you.
It
But
does.
yeah. So, okay. So back to the Allison thing. Thanks, Liz, for gifting. Always gifting. Legend.
Thank you, Liz.
I
And
think
hold
this
on,
means we're going to sell.
and I got to stop you because Liz has been a member for 46 months, man.
Wow.
46 months, man. That's almost 4 years. Is my math right on that?
Just about. Yeah.
Damn, Liz, that's awesome. Shout out to
Pretty
Liz.
close.
Appreciate it. Yeah, sorry, go
So
ahead.
Kelleher. I think they might be moving on from Kelleher, which is why they got him. And they just want another world-class backup because they know how important it is to have a world-class backup when you have Allison. Now, here's what I don't understand. Here's the scenario that doesn't make sense. They're going to get rid of Allison and keep Mamadashvili and Kelleher. That doesn't make sense because Kelleher deserves to play. He's either going to become the number one here or the number one somewhere else. I believe he has earned that.
I agree.
So I think they're going to keep Allison and keep Mamadashvili as a solid backup and then make the transition either in 2026 or in a few years' time. That's what I think. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
So you don't think
See, Aaron T here. This is the only thing that makes sense to me.
okay, so you don't think that Darshvili has that number one potential?
Over Allison? Absolutely not.
No, not over Allison, just in general.
No, he definitely does.
Okay,
I mean, he's
so
one of the hottest goalkeepers in the world, one of the most sought after goalkeepers in the world. But
which is
people don't
why,
care about goalkeepers like positional players.
yeah.
So there's not going to be a ton of hot rumors,
Well,
you
see,
know.
this is my problem then, because okay, let's just forget about the fact that Allison's injury prone for 1 second. If you're Mama Darshvili, you're a top goalkeeper in the world right now, top 10, let's say, and at least one of the top young prospects in your position. Why do you come to be a backup?
Because of
Because at goalkeeper, there's the least amount of rotation of any other positional player.
not here
Well, no,
for
that's why.
two reasons.
No, hold on. That's why I said at the beginning, forget about Allison being injury prone for a second.
Right. So cup games, Kyle. Kelleher plays in the cups, and there is a path to number one with Allison's contract expiring. And there's got to be something. There's a couple layers to this. There's the history of the club, the size of the club, Liverpool, right? To be able to walk in and see a path to being Liverpool's number one keeper is a big drawing point. And that's why Mamadashvili came. He didn't come to be a backup, but he came with the assumption that maybe he will be a backup for a short time, but then he will take over and be the guy for maybe the next 10 years, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That, and he will play in cups and he will get game time when things go awry, which we're not supposed to talk about according to you. But yeah, he will play. We're going to play in 4 competitions.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. So yeah, I can see it. And you're right. What do you think Kelleher's ceiling is while we're on the subject?
I think Kelleher is as good as they come. He doesn't make mistakes, Kyle. Like, how much more do we have to see from him? Sure, he maybe could be a little bit of a better shot stopper, maybe a little bit more range, if you will. But like, the guy doesn't put a foot wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Pretty
So
good.
he is just so solid. And we keep looking for like, it's a great point you make. Like, you bring up what's his ceiling. I think that's what people wonder is how much better can he get? Or how could he be closer to like Allison level? But like, maybe he is that good. We haven't seen him make mistakes. Right? So like, why do we keep waiting for quote unquote the other shoe to drop, or waiting for something to go wrong, or waiting for like the catch? You know, like, what's the catch with Kelleher? I don't think there is one. I think he's that good. Like, he's really, really good.
I agree.
He's so good.
And it's not like we've seen like bits and pieces of his game. He's played damn near half a whole season for us before, dude. Because Allison's down
Yeah.
with injuries.
He's
So
played a ton.
he's played a lot of football for us, dude. He almost
He's been the
single-handedly.
keeper in tournaments we have won.
I was just about to say that. Exactly. He's a very good keeper. So yeah, no, his ceiling for me, it kind of reminds me of like maybe like an Emiliano Martinez deal. Maybe not because he was a little bit older when he went to Villa, but he's the backup at Arsenal, steps in, does great, and he's like, damn, I should probably be starting for someone. You know what I mean? So I think Kelleher, I hope he stays in England because I want to see what he can do for a team that just needs that. This is kind of crazy to say, but like I feel like if Kelleher was on Everton, they might be a lot better.
They would.
I mean, I know Pickford is on paper a better keeper, but I feel like Pickford's IQ doesn't even touch his goalkeeping IQ does not touch Kelleher.
Here's what I think you need to do. I think you need to get the Kelleher reservations removed from your mind. He's better than Jordan Pickford. If we could pull up stats and compare them somehow online, I bet you he would have better numbers. Like,
Probably. But transitioning from Allison and, the fact that he's probably not leaving, let's talk about the Trent saga for a minute, how this is kind of unfolded, right? So you got um you got Trent, who has said he wants to keep all of his contract talks out of the media, how he's always been. But he keeps kind of like dropping these hints, right? Like in an interview, he talked about how he's like, if I had to choose one team to play for outside of England, it'd probably be Barcelona. And he's like, I feel like their values share the same, I guess, values as Liverpool. You know what I mean? And knowing damn well that Madrid are reported to be interested in him, once that happened, once I saw that, I'm like, there's no way this dude's not staying. There's no way this dude is not signing a contract extension after that comment, bro. That's his way of telling us, like, I ain't going anywhere, bitches. I'm not going anywhere. Don't believe this. We're at a stalemate, because I've seen every report from reputable people, right, that contract talks have reached an impasse. Impasse. How do you say that word?
impasse.
Impasse. Why the hell do they put an E on the end of it then?
Impasse.
Impasse. Every time I read it, I say impasse in my head. It's terrible.
Impasse.
And he's not going anywhere, bro. But the media wanted us to believe that this man was going to sign for Madrid.
Because the media is toxic. He's a scouser, dude. The only comment he made that bothered me was, I don't want to be the player that only won trophies when he was young. In other words, he's poking the bear to say, we need to win trophies and keep improving the squad and challenge at the highest level. And when we have our contract talks, your guys are going to have to sell me on how we're going to make that happen, or something like that. Planting the seed, lighting a fire under somebody's ass. Edwards, whoever, Hughes, right? Like, I will stay, but we need to win trophies. I'm not just going to be a lifer here like Gerrard.
And I love that point, because the contract talks are not just individualized, right? Obviously, you have all the, bonuses and pay structure and different perks, that are built into the contract. But you're absolutely right. I know that when you're signing, that he's 25, right? This guy is in smack dab in the middle of his career. Some would argue the prime of his career, or maybe not even entering the prime of his career yet. And he's going to want assurances, right? If I'm signing a big, lucrative 5-year deal, I need to know that, A, you guys are going to be liquid in the market, improving the squad. Even if you think we have enough depth, even if you think we have enough talent, I need assurances that you are not going to sleep until we win trophies. Okay. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all, because if there's a criticism of how Liverpool approach business, it's they can be complacent. They can be happy with what they have. They will only improve when they really, really desperately need to. And they've done a good job of that, to be fair. But they usually don't get ahead of things. Does that make sense? They usually don't. Like the Mamadashvili signing, I feel like that's getting ahead of things, right? That's the first time I've seen that. But usually, we waited until Milner, Hendo, Fabinho in our midfield are walking around on one crutch and a peg leg to say, all right, we probably need to upgrade the midfield, And I feel like Trent's tired of that. Maybe that's why we're seeing that kind of quote.
Right. You're right. There's a lot more that goes into these contract talks. Like, how much are you guys going to invest? What's the plan? I could see an element of this discussion where he's like, what's my position going to be? We have Connor Bradley, who's very promising.
Great.
I'm not going to lose game time to him. I don't want to lose game time to him. Are you guys going to put me in the midfield? Are we going to keep playing this transitional role? this hybrid role. Is Bradley going to be more of a cup game player, or if I'm not fit, fill in for me? Those things matter. Those things really matter. And also, what's going on with Salah? What's going on with Virgil?
Right.
If Virgil were to leave, right, that puts a whole other level of defensive responsibility on Trent. Do you guys believe in my defensive abilities? These are the types of things that they're talking about.
That
I
makes
don't think
sense.
I don't think overarching, generally speaking, I don't think it's an issue at all. He'll resign, Virgil will resign, and I think we will also extend Mo Salah 2 years because Mo Salah is a competitor, and the only place I could see him going is Saudi, and then also there's rumors of PSG. He does not want to play for PSG. There's no way he wants to play for PSG and play in a farmers league.
Dude, there's absolutely no way Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't know if anyone realizes this, right? But PSG, they'll make good signings. You'll see like good players go there. You're not seeing top level players go there. Okay, there was a period of time of like 2 years, right? When they had Neymar, where they were in talks to get Messi, right? They got Donnarumma. There was a point in time there where you're like, okay, they have a little more pull in Europe than they did before. But I think people realize that PSG just do not have the culture to win things. And they're, like you said, they're in a league where it is so below the European competition that when they get into Europe, they're just not good enough, right? I mean, they had a fluke year. Was it COVID when they went to the final and lost to Bayern? Or was it
That would have
Lyon in
been,
the
yeah, that would have
final?
been around the COVID time. That would have been around 2019.
So I don't think Messi was, well, COVID didn't happen in
Messi was
2019.
not there. But the players that go there are players that are chasing money, players that have no ambition, or are kind of,
They were Saudi before Saudi.
yeah, kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
Messi, like, he had to leave Barcelona. He had to leave. Neymar had to leave, but no one was going to pay him his crazy wage demands. It's at PSG. Mbappe, they signed him from Monaco for a huge fee. No one else was going to pay that.
Right.
But I think if it was up to Mbappe, he would have left 3 years ago.
Right. I mean, they you can't leave when they're coming downstairs and they're saying, all right, look, we're going to give you partial ownership in this club. We're going to give you £1 million or euros a week. We're going to give you decision-making abilities on all signings. And you can say, the hell with it, fire the coach whenever you want. Will you sign? I'd be like, yeah. Why the hell
the best way
not?
to look at this, dude, the best
Pick
way to
them
look
up.
at this. The best way to look at this, as far as I'm concerned, is like look at France's the national team, their starting lineup. Okay, how many of those players play for PSG?
That's a good point.
That's the biggest club in France, in Paris, right? Like it's a huge club. But you look at the players that play for them, or like their all-time greats, like Giroud, Lloris for a while, Conte. Now it's Saliba, Kanate.
But
These
that's
guys
not the
don't play
top.
there.
I know, but that's not the top level. You can say that about every top club. I mean, or every top international team, right? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yes, you can.
Mm-mm. No, some of the best players from Spain play for Barcelona
Okay,
and Real
that's
Madrid.
Spain. All right, let's look at Brazil.
England, same
Every
thing.
top
Germany,
player for
same
Brazil
thing.
does not play for.
That's different. No.
This is my
I'm talking
point.
about in Europe. I'm talking about only in Europe.
Okay.
Only in Europe.
Okay. So, all right.
Bayern and Germany. Bayern and Germany.
Okay.
England
fair.
and the Premier League.
I concede.
Okay. But you know what I mean. And this isn't like groundbreaking news, but players with ambition don't play for PSG.
Okay. I concede. All right. And this kind of ties nicely into the Salah thing because Salah's been linked with PSG for years. Right? Salah's been linked with PSG for years. And for Salah, for me, the Trent contract thing it looks like in my eyes, from what I'm seeing on Twitter and what I'm seeing from all the reports, it was initially kind of like, all right, what's going on? Why have we not signed this extension? Then there was the leak with the the paint on the seats in the new Anfield Road stand that looked like 66. And people were like, ooh, is he announcing a new contract? Then there were pictures of training where Van Dijk and Trent were in kits, full kits, and everyone else was in training kits. And people were like, what's going on? Like, there were a lot of hints dropped that, they were signing a new contract, but nothing's developed. That's been like a month, 2-3 months ago. But now over the last week or two, especially over the international break, I'm seeing more promising reports suggesting that talks are moving along nicely. Everyone's kind of confident the deal is going to get done with both Trent and Van Dijk. I have been the least worried about the Van Dijk one, honestly. I feel like Van Dijk wants to stay. He was interviewed after the Netherlands lost, and he made a questionable comment about like something about I don't want to. I don't know. You got to look ahead in your career. I can't even remember what he said, but people were like, "Oh God, does he want to leave?" He was interviewed right after a loss, and it's like,
Right, but at the end of the day, the fact that they're even making these comments is kind of annoying, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it could be part of a negotiation strategy where it's like, oh man,
Well, it
maybe he
is.
doesn't want to sign this. Let's up the offer. Like, Van Dyke is going to make 300K, and he's going to extend for 2 years.
I
That'll
think
happen anytime now.
I think a 3-year extension for him is perfect. I want a 3-year extension for Van Dijk.
I think it's going to be 2. But either way, I think Trent's going to sign a new 5-year deal,
Yep, Trent will sign a new 5-year deal.
and I think he'll get like 250,
You think Trent will get 250?
220 to 250.
I
I
think
think
that
he'll
might be
want
what
more, but
I think that might be the sticking point because right now he makes about 180, 200K, right, a week. His latest contract was, I'm almost positive, is 180,000 pounds a week. And, when you look at Van Dijk makes 220 on his current deal. And I think Mo Salah makes what, 350, right? Oh, yes.
325 or 350.
Are you pulling it up?
I'm looking for Trent's salary.
It should be 180 or 200. I've seen both of those numbers. So for him to up a contract into the prime of his career, there's no way. I think that might be the sticking point. I think he might be looking for upwards of 250 based on what Salah got. Now, I don't think he gets anywhere over 300. But here's how I value Trent. Right? You can look at Trent and say, yeah, Van Dijk gets 220. Trent probably should only get 200, right? Or, that's just how I look at it. But think about losing Trent, right? Think about the value you lose when you lose Trent. How big of a hit to the club that would be. Maybe if you can look at it statistically on field or maybe just morale-wise. If you lose Trent, because you won't sign him, it's a huge blow to the team. And that value that you place on it when you lose him, you need to look at that when you're trying to extend him. So I think he's worth upwards of 200, but I think he's asking for a lot too. I
I
think
mean,
he's
he's on 180K a week, so
right.
$229,000. 180K.
Do pounds, just do
Euros.
pounds. That's no pounds. So he's on 180,000
What's the
pounds.
lowest one? Pounds?
Yeah, pounds, euros is slightly higher, and then there's dollars.
Yeah, okay, so it's 180 pounds. Like, there's no reason he can't get to 220, 250. There's no reason. You have to pay for these players. Like,
You have it's just the market now, I
yeah,
mean,
you lost big salaries recently. You lost a Matip who was 100 and something. You lost Thiago. You lost Firmino, Mane a couple of years ago. You got the money, pay them.
right,
Like,
and
it's
then
not that difficult.
and you brought Luis Diaz is on 55, dude. You got your top goal scorer this year on 55. Okay. You got Soboslai who's on like 110, 120. You saved money on a lot of the players you brought in. And I believe obviously they have the money to do it. There's no question. But they're not stupid. I was talking at the wedding I was at last night. I was talking to this guy about, or it was 2 nights ago at the rehearsal dinner. He's a Man City fan. Okay. So that was my first red flag. Right. But then I got to talking to this guy and he actually understood how Liverpool do things versus Man City. Okay. So he said to me, I wish we ran our club like Liverpool do. And I was like, what are you talking about? We started talking about all the top clubs. And he said, Liverpool are extremely frugal, right? But they do it well. They still have arguably the best starting 11 in Europe, in the world. And they've managed to do it by still suffering the criticism of not spending like the top clubs, whatever you want to say. And he said, the reason is because they have a culture. They understand that you just have a way of doing things. And if people don't want to buy into that, then you're going to have a culture problem and everyone buys into it. And he said, I just wish our club was like that. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. But inside the club, internally, fans are like, oh, I hate how FSG handles things. They need to pay for the top players and all that. But I just feel like Liverpool take their time. Yeah, we want to get these contracts done, but do it right. Put the proper incentives in there. Make sure the player understands, hey, we still value you, but we have a way of doing things here. We have to make sure that everything, all of our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted. And at the end of this contract negotiation, we want you to feel valued. We want our end to feel like we're not wasting money or have any areas of concern. We want all parties to be happy. If that takes 6 months, it takes 6 months. If it takes a year, it takes a year. We will get it done. We value you. Don't take any of this personally. It is all business based. As long as they're communicating that with the I almost said patience with the players, everything will be fine.
So this comment here, Aaron T, all these contracts should have been sorted in 2023 at the latest. In a perfect world, that's how it works. But you guys know how Liverpool is. They wait till the last possible second to extend players, I feel like, for the most part. That's the first layer of this. The second layer of this is Klopp was leaving. So instead of taking the time this summer to extend their contracts, these guys probably said, hold on. Right? There have been communications or whatever, but they probably said, hold on, you're bringing in this new manager. We don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to play us? Is he going to bring in different players? Who are we going to sign? What's my role going to be? Is he going to be any good? Are we going to be the laughing stock of the top six? Right? So
Yeah.
it didn't make sense for them to extend in the summer. And I think that's totally fine. But the fact that we're making progress now, and it's not even November, there's still plenty of time. Like,
of course.
There is still plenty of time. Of course, we want to lock these guys up sooner so that they don't leave on a free. But this was an interesting summer where it didn't make sense for these players to engage in extension talks because there was so much uncertainty at the club. Again, new manager. Who are we bringing in? What's my role going to be? What system are we going to play?
All great points. All great points. And I just think as fans, we're anxious. We're like, get these deals done. Lock our three best players, arguably, down. There's a lot of stress as a fan going on right now, man. I mean, you're looking at Van Dijk, who he's just the best defender in the world over the last 8 years.
Kyle, he's the best center back of all time.
I know he is. I firmly believe that. I've never seen a player like Virgil van Dijk, dude. Ever. In the way
he is the best. He is. I can't even describe how highly I think of him.
He's such a great player.
He is like the third. He is like a top 5 player of all time, as far as I'm concerned.
And he's a defense. I know. That's a hot take, but I don't disagree with it. It's just a hot take because no one's saying that, dude. Nobody.
Right. And people, you have to really understand what he's able to do, which is literally everything. He gets goals. He's faster than everyone. He's stronger than everyone. He has better leadership qualities than everyone. He can play on one leg and dominate.
Probably. And that Van
Dijk
Konate partnership so far this year has been untouchable.
And look, I don't want to be naive, and we're clearly biased, but no player in the world wants to face Virgil van Dijk.
Every every player who's been interviewed, not every player, but how many interviews have you seen, Steve, where people say the hardest defender I've played against is Virgil van Dijk?
Tons.
Tons. And how many times, defenders are interviewed, who's the best player you've played against? Leo Messi, right? Like, when that question is asked, you're not saying, oh, I had a tough game against Mikel Antonio once. I might say him, Mikel Antonio, right?
Yeah,
You're thinking, okay, well, who's the best player I've played? He's just, oh my God, I'm getting emotional now thinking about the possibility of losing him or when he retires. We have been just disgustingly spoiled defensively over the last 8 years. Virgil van Dijk has been a revelation of a defender for this club.
He has carried this transformation, this run of success. Without him, it does not happen. I think you could take Salah out and we'd still have trophies. Not as many. We'd still have trophies. You could take Trent out. You could take Alisson out. We'd still have trophies. We wouldn't have as many trophies. You take Virgil out, the whole thing crumbles. As far as I'm concerned. Virgil is the most important piece and has been for the last 7 years. He has dominated ever since he came in.
And you know what people forget about is this man was on the stage with Ronaldo and Messi for Ballon d'Or in 2019.
He lost it by like 6 votes.
I think about this occasionally when it pops up on my feed, just to remind me, like, one of those things like, hey, people forget how good Van Dijk was in his prime, that kind of thing. He was unbelievable. He, no doubt, should have won it that year. There's no question in my mind. He didn't get dribbled past for like 2 full seasons, Steve. He led Liverpool to a Champions League. And the only I don't even know who won it that year. Maybe Ronaldo.
No, it was Messi.
It was
by 6 votes or 7 votes. They do hundreds, thousands of votes. He lost by like 5 or 6.
The only reason he lost it was because it's a pedigree thing, dude. You're going up against Messi. No doubt in my mind, Van Dijk won it that year. I'm sorry. He was
the best player by a landslide.
Landslide.
It's not even close. But anyways, we could talk about Virgil forever. We should have a Virgil appreciation show.
God, we really
should.
When
people bring up Vidic, it makes me sick. That guy was a great player.
No, but
no doubt.
To answer this question, if you asked it, I would have said Vidic. Honestly.
Okay, right. But people nowadays are comparing Saliba to Van Dijk, and it's like, okay, Arsenal have had a really good defense, right? But I mean, think about this. Okay. Here's the last thing I'm going to say. Virgil van Dijk. Well, let's start with Saliba. Saliba's surrounded by Gabriel, Ben White, who is a center back. And then on the left, who is it? Zinchenko or who else plays over there?
Calafiori, maybe.
Timber? I don't know. Whoever.
No, Timber's been playing on the right.
Okay, all right.
Arsenal have always been weird. They just have weird fullbacks. It's weird.
Saliba's been surrounded by defenders. Okay, listen to this. Defenders, center backs, solid defenders. Ben White, Gabriel, and take your pick on the left side.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay. Ben White.
Wait. Defenders on his sides. Real, true, good defenders. In front of him, when fit, he's got Thomas Partey, who is a great defensive midfielder, and Declan Rice, a great defensive midfielder. right in front of him. He is protected on all cylinders. Okay? Think about Virgil van Dijk. To his left, he has the most attacking wingback maybe in Prem history. Andrew Robertson. All the way over on the right, he's got Trent, who's whipping in. They're like midfielders. They're the most attacking wingback duo we've ever seen. And beside him, for the majority of his time here, he's been partnered with Lovren, Matip, Gomez, Klavan. Kyle. These are the people that surround him.
Those names you just listed are legendary.
Dude, he has been surrounded by these people. And for a while, for a little bit there, it was, who's the guy from the Champions League final? Karius behind him, who didn't help him at all. Did he play with Mignolet?
Yeah,
and then
he played with Mignolet.
And then in front of him,
he didn't.
Fabinho was great. A lot of times it was a Milner, a Hendo. All last year, McAllister, who's not defensive. He can play there, but he's not. He played the majority of his Liverpool career with an old-ass midfield until we revamped last year. He's been surrounded by mediocre defensive abilities. So don't compare Saliba.
You're forgetting.
Huh?
You forgot.
No,
Fabinho.
I said Fabinho was really good.
Okay.
I did say that. But especially across the back line, it's not even comparable to think about what Virgil van Dijk has done at times virtually alone. Because Trent and Robbo are whipping in crosses 60, 80 yards up the pitch. And he's back there with Lovren or Gomez.
Your presentation is good. Your presentation's good. I don't know if I agree with mediocre defensive abilities because, I mean, Trent, we can obviously agree is mediocre defensively, right? He has his moments, but he's mediocre at best, okay? I think we all agree, or should agree. Lovren, average defender, right? Had his moments of being very good for him, but injured all the time. Matip and Van Dijk still, to me, is the best duo I've seen.
Matip, okay. For a long time there, we were arguing who's better, Matip or Gomez, right? Matip, the last 2 years, maybe 3, before he left, he was very, very good. But let us not forget, yes, Matip was underrated, but he was also injured 50% of the time. That's why Van Dijk had to play with Klavan and Lovren and Gomez after Gomez fell out of form. Gomez was great like 6 years ago, right? So all of this uncertainty, this lack of stability is the reason why Virgil van Dijk is head and shoulders above a guy like William Saliba. Think about and the high line, Kyle.
Dude,
how many times did we have to see
point.
Virgil van Dijk track back 1v1 and make stops on the best players in the world?
Bro,
1v1. You don't see Saliba having to do that.
So think back to the Tottenham match. Who was this? Was a while ago, but this was when he was in that phase where he could. Once you started talking about Klavan, I want to run through a wall, you know. But you know, you think back to there was a 1v1 he had. I cannot remember who it was. Maybe it was Sissoko for Tottenham when he played. It was a while ago, but it was 1v1. Sissoko had a leg up on him, but all Van Dijk did was just like look at him. It was weird. And Sissoko just shot it over the bar. It was 1v1. Yeah, Sissoko had an open shot. I think it was him. And that was the time. That was the time where Van Dijk was, in essence, doing it by himself. He was manhandling teams by himself. But the reason our defense has been so good this year is because we're not as vulnerable with it. I mean, we play high up the pitch, but we are not as gung-ho on keeping this high line as we were with Klopp. And so that's why we've only conceded, 2 goals? 2 Premier League goals?
Only 2. Now
that's absurd.
I know. There's only one more thing I want to say about this, and then we have to preview this match for 10 minutes. I'm not saying that the defenders around him are bad. there are just not true out and out defenders. Those are attacking wingbacks and uncertainty at the partner level and the other center back, right? There's also been a lot of changes in goalkeeper. He started with one, and then Allison came in, and then Allison's hurt, and Kelleher comes in, and Adrian was there. You got to think about all these variables, right? And Van Dijk, his level has never dropped. It dropped maybe 1 year. Maybe 1 year.
I know
He also
exactly
missed
what
a
you're
year
talking
and
about.
came back, right? So there's so much that he has done to keep his level so high that guys like Saliba and Rudiger, guys that he's compared to somehow, don't have to worry about.
Be careful
That's
with
it.
Rudiger. Be careful. I rate Rudiger very highly. Obviously not as high as Van Dijk, but his last year at Chelsea, before he made that move to Madrid, Rudiger was top 3 defenders in the world, dude. He was nasty, and he can shoot. He has a foot. I tried to say boot and foot at the same time. Boot on him.
We scored 5 goals against Chelsea that year.
Hey, great.
Keita put that top bins. Remember that?
What?
Keita from outside the box, top right hand corner.
Oh my God. Yeah, one of Keita's 6 goals or whatever he scored for us. Jesus. See you later.
Okay. So we're playing Chelsea today, and the first thing I'm going to say that I think everybody needs to remember is we haven't had the toughest schedule so far. I think that's
we have not. This is our first test, bro.
No, it's not the first test. I think the first test was a trip to Old Trafford.
Oh,
That always can be a tough game, regardless of recent results versus them. It's still Man United. It's still Old Trafford, and we did very well with that test. The other test that people didn't realize at the time, and we failed, was Forest. Forest have only let up 6 goals this year, Kyle. They're in the mix. They're in the table. They're in the mix. Like, they're not bottom of the barrel.
Forest are 12th. Plus
they've let up the second least goals in the Premier League this year.
Yeah, but
us and then Forest.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a tough test that we failed. This is probably the hardest test, but we're home. Don't forget that. We are home.
But Chelsea,
but a win is the only result that matters.
Yeah, and I did not mean to cut you off. I'm thinking, right, Chelsea are starting to find their footing. They're 6th in the table, and they started out rough, just like they played all of last year, where they have all this talent and they've been playing like ass, right? But Chelsea have been playing very well recently. If we go back and we look, their last match, this actually speaks to your point, Steve. They drew with Nottingham Forest 1-1, all right, at Stamford
and they had
Bridge.
10 men for the last 20 minutes.
Yep. So you look at that. Oh, wow.
Forest had more shots on target that game.
Then you go and you look at the previous matchup. They beat Brighton 4-2. Not an easy matchup. They beat them. Then we go and we look at smoking West Ham 3-0, which is one of the worst defensive performances I've seen so far this year from West Ham. That was awful. Then they beat Bournemouth 1-0, right? So they've been on a good tear. But then going back before that, like at the beginning of the seasons where they struggled, right? 1-1 against Palace. Then you're looking at, they beat Wolves 6-2, but Wolves are awful this year. I don't understand with the talent they have on their team why they have 1 point. They have 1 point, guys.
They lost to Man City 2-0 as well, first match of the year. So they haven't passed any test either.
No, they haven't. But you look at form, right? You look at form, they're hot right now. Now, it's early, okay? But there's no denying Chelsea have talent. There is no denying that Chelsea have talent. But on paper, pound for pound, if we look at their squad, right, the biggest one we have to worry about is Cole Palmer. Okay, Cole Palmer is nasty. Okay? And I think we have the talent to stick with him, no problem. But let me look at this here. All right. So defender-wise, you got Axel Disasi, Cucurella, Badiashile, Ben Chilwell, Levi Colwill, Fofana, Adirabio. Like, their defense is not good. I'm sorry. It's not. Their defense is ass, Steve.
So it's going to be Gusto. He's been playing right
Yeah,
back.
Gusto's playing right back. Yep. Then I
Tolson,
think
Colwill, Vega,
so.
maybe?
No. So they're going Gusto at right back. They'll play Levi Colwill, and I think they've been rotating a lot, but I think they'll play Disasi. I think they'll go, unless he's injured. I don't know their injury report or anything, but I think they'll go Disasi, Colwill, and then at left back we're going to see Chilwell. All right.
No,
So
Chilwell's out.
okay, then we're not seeing.
He's out of the plans. He's out of the plans. Like he's not playing. I think. Like he's not even with the club.
So then Cucurella. Okay.
No, Cucurella is suspended.
Okay. So who the fuck else?
This dude Vega. I'm looking at a predicted lineup here. It says Sanchez, Gusto.
I don't even see a Vega
Colwill.
on their squad list, dude.
Dude, I don't know.
I'm
Fernandez, Caicedo in midfield.
Wait, Vega.
Madueke, Palmer, Sancho, Jackson.
Vega. Oh, he's listed as a midfielder. Okay. So he has 4 appearances. All right. So then midfield, right? So you're going because they usually play a 4-2-3-1, right? So
yes.
So then you're going Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, right? And then you'll probably see Cole Palmer in the 10. Okay. And Madueke,
Sancho and
Jackson.
Yep.
And then
most likely
there's subs. I mean, remember you got 5 subs. We're definitely going to see Pedro Neto. You're probably going to see João Felix. You're probably going to see Christopher Nkunku come on. And Dewsbury Hall has been getting a lot of game time for them as well. But Cole Palmer is obviously the threat. 7 appearances, 6 goals, 5 assists, 8 big chances created for Cole Palmer. That is 4 times as many as the second place person, which take a wild guess who's created the second most on the team.
Colwill.
No, Mudryk. Yep.
I saw links with Mudryk and Liverpool a couple weeks ago.
That's a joke. Yeah,
here's the thing.
Enzo Fernandez has done nothing. I mean, maybe production-wise, he's done nothing. He's created 1 big chance, no goals, no assists, 6 appearances. But again, that's probably his position. Go ahead.
I rate him. I think he's very good. They overpaid for him, but I think he's very good. It's so important in this match to get ahead early. Like we need to go into half like up 2-0 because their bench does scare me a little bit. You got players that can make something out of nothing. Even if we're defending well, Felix and Nkunku, they can just put something in the net.
Neto and Nkunku coming off the bench is kind of scary. Neto,
we know Felix can do things too.
Yeah.
But man, we are relatively healthy as far as I know. And is Allison back?
Dude, I don't even know.
Is he fit?
I don't know who's healthy. I'm gonna go on Twitter and see some predicted lineups here or something.
Oh no, Kelleher's gonna play.
Okay, so we got Kelleher in goal. Hold on, let me just go to the Liverpool app real quick here, and we'll get some updated news. But starting 11 wise, I mean, if we got Kelleher in goal, Steve, who are you going with?
Why am I looking at okay. Regular back 4. Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, Jota, Diaz. Who?
Oh, what? Hold on. I thought McAllister was out, but so he missed 1 game for Argentina, played the second one. Simikas missed the first game.
He's
fine. All right. Elliott's out. Okay, so the only one who's confirmed out is Allison. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I thought McAllister.
And I guess probably Endo, Chiesa, and obviously Elliott's out. Endo and Chiesa were both ill or had a knock. They're both doubts. I don't know when this article was written, but
I'm on the team news on Liverpool's app, and so what it says is, I'll just kind of read it here. Allison Becker is definitely out due to the injury he picked up when the Reds signed off for October. And during the pre-match press conference Friday morning, Arne Slot said he would need to wait until after his squad had trained in the afternoon to gather further information on availability for the Premier League meeting with Enzo Maresca's team. I think he's referring to Allison. He said, now we've got quite some issues from players coming back from the national teams, and we can only judge that perfectly today because today's the first time they're all in and the first time that they're all training together again. So let's see after this session where everyone is. McAllister, like I said, missed a game with Argentina. Tsimikas missed out on the first game against England. So I can name them all, but we've got a few issues going on, and let's see what they are after today. Endo is also sick. So those guys might be a game time decision. I don't know. I mean, obviously we want McAllister to start, but say McAllister doesn't. It's Gravenberch and who? This is what I couldn't figure out.
No,
I
he's
honestly
starting.
I thought Curtis Jones.
Yeah, that's who it would be. And then the front, the only question mark to me, as far as I'm concerned, as long as McAllister is going to play, is I don't even think it's a question mark. But I guess Gakpo or Jota. I don't know. It's going to be Salah, Jota, and Diaz, hopefully.
And then Soboslai.
Yeah.
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 I mean, that's
the same standard lineup.
Yeah, that's who he likes.
Score prediction. You go first.
Score prediction. Am I going to start doing them again? All right, score prediction. I'll go
You have
3-1. I go 3-1 Liverpool. And Cole Palmer gets the goal for Chelsea. Liverpool, I feel like Konate gets another one. Konate, he's been good recently. Konate gets one. And then I'm going to go Soboslai gets 2. And the reason I say this is because Soboslai's first game for Liverpool against Chelsea, you remember that? Remember how good he was?
Mm-hmm.
I just got a feeling Soboslai is going to get 2. He's so due.
Okay.
That's what I'm going.
I'm going to go. My first thought was 3-1, but I don't like that because I think we can keep another clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-0. I want to score more, but I think 2-0 is pretty much on par with the way we play. The way we've been playing. 2-0.
I can get behind it. I can absolutely get behind it. Shout out to Oyvind. Oyvind been a member for 40 months. We love the support, man. We really appreciate it. It's going 3-0 with Van Dijk, Diaz, and Salah scoring. That would be right on par with the season that Diaz is having. Liz, 3-1, Salah, Dom, and Van Dijk. I love it. Absolutely love it. And Aaron T says Allison is not back until late November.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Kelleher has played against Chelsea a few times. Like, it's all good.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. But
I mean, if you look at it on paper, Kyle, our starting 11 versus the one that they would have, we're head and shoulders 10 times better than them.
Head and shoulders.
Every defender we have is better than every defender they have.
By far.
Midfield, people are like, oh, Caicedo. Yeah, Caicedo's having a pretty good year. But aside from that, like, we should control the midfield.
Cole Palmer he would make our starting 11. He would replace Soboslai for me. Like he's that good.
Yeah, that's all I'm hearing about lately though is Cole Palmer, and it's like,
yeah, I know, but he is. I've been watching some videos that have been made on him recently and kind of like detailing, is this just a hype train or is this kid actually talented? He's dominated at every level he's played at. When he was at City, he was always told, like, you're the next guy up, you're the next guy up. And Pep just did not give him game time. And that's why they sold him to Chelsea. Chelsea have given him game time, and he's proven this kid is special, right? He's just great. I mean, he had 30 goals 30 goals and assists last year or something nuts.
We're going to find out today how good he is. There's a difference in being in great form and everything you shoot goes in, and then also being a world-class player where you can control the tempo of games. You can do anything you want. You can carve defenders up. He doesn't have that part to his game yet, I don't think. But everything he touches has turned into gold lately. So hopefully that doesn't happen today.
He's very ice cold, as some would say, in front of goal. So
yeah, I mean, I wish him nothing but success, but just not today. And I don't like Cole Palmer today. I don't care about Cole Palmer today.
dude, if
I
I
want somebody to get physical with Cole Palmer today. He is a wiry player. Let's knock him around. Like, you know?
no, I 100% agree. I think Gravenberch needs to get in and up in his business. You know what I'm saying? Like Soboslai, put a body on this man. You're right. He's frail. He's skinny. The dude's like 120 pounds soaking wet. Let's get him a little rattled. You know?
Yeah, let's rattle him right off the first whistle. Get a body on him. Knock him around. Cole, you want to go up for a header? Here's Virgil and Konate swarming you. Good luck. Okay?
Legend.
This isn't the Wolves defense or Lewis Dunk. Come on.
Adam
Robertson
Webster.
is going to be on your ass if you want to come up the right side. Breathing down your neck. Oh, you want to cut back in? Virgil's like, hey. And Gravenberch is sliding in from behind.
Oh my gosh, dude.
God.
I'm pumped.
I'm so
pumped
excited.
for this game. It's going to be
Also,
a good one.
shout out to my New England Patriots. They are in London right now, kicking off in 22 minutes. I got to go watch that.
And shout out to the Jaguars who have been there for like 5 weeks. Just like, all right, how many games are we playing in
They
London?
suck.
No, they're terrible. But it's like they suck so bad. The United States, the NFL was like, look, you're going to go spend 2 weeks in London. I'm sorry. You're not playing here. Okay? Go ahead.
The Patriots suck too, though. So whatever. I can't even.
Going to be a heck of a matchup, guys. Thank you, everyone, for being here and tuning in. Good luck to the Reds today. Steve, any closing thoughts, my man?
It's just a great day of sports.
It's a good day.
I got the Patriots on in 20-something minutes. I got Liverpool on in a few hours. It's just a beautiful thing.
What a time. What a time. Thank you, everyone. Steve, pleasure as always. Until next time, Reds. Take care.